This Shabbat is the fourth day which is called Kohamoed Sukkot, which is the fourth intermediate day of the Sukkot. And we are still in the Sukkot mode, and we are still, rejoicing, being happy, because we are commanded to be what? To be happy. He said, on your day of festival, and the festival of Sukkot, it is a commandment to be what? To be joyful, to be happy, to praise, to glorify, and to exalt the name of the Holy One. Blessed be He. And we're going to see the expansion of the Torah in the Messianic writing, which the Holy One, blessed be He, is going to expand onto us this morning. This is what Rabbi Liam of the United States said concerning the festival of Sukkot. Rabbi Liam said, every once in a while, when reading a bedtime story to the younger children, he finds himself in the ending wiping a tear from the corners of his eyes and wondering if any of the children are really capable of appreciating the depth of this seemingly simple story. It is not meant more for the parent, and if we get it either. Every night, when he's about to say a bedtime story for his children, he found himself at the end wiping tears from his eyes. Why? Because he's trying to understand if the children are able to grasp the depth of the message that the night story is talking about. Most of the time, our children, they don't get it. They just, when they tell them the story, they just fall asleep. But we, the older ones, we, the parents, we should be able to grasp this depth understanding of what this simple story is talking about. He said that one such book reappeared on the bookshelf recently. It must have been with all the stuff for the Sukkot, because it seemingly belongs there. It's called The Happiness Box. And that is what I subtitle this message, The Happiness Box. The plot is something like this. This is what the story is all about. There's this kid that's never happy with what he has. He finds things to complain about all day. Whatever he has is not enough, or not just right, and all he can find is fault. Can someone remind me who is that person? Can someone here remind me who are those people? Who are those group of people? He said, this kid is never happy with whatsoever he has. He always complain and find reason to complain. In everything that his parent does, he always finds fault. One day, after his family moved into a beautiful new house, a giant package arrives. It's a washing machine or some other large appliance, and the kid is suffering from essential nausea because it's not for him. He begins to do what? To begin to cry, begin to hysteria, because this is not for me. Because he's used that everything that is in the house is for him. He's used that everything that the mama or the papa does is for him. He's used that all the gift in the world is under his control. So it's this kind of hysteria that comes upon him. His clever father convinced him that the box is the real item of desire, and it's just for him. It's called a happiness box. And while inside, one must think only about happy thoughts. His father was trying to convince him, stop crying. Why are you crying? Why are you in this hysteria? Stop, it's okay. This box is for you. This washing machine actually I bought it for you. And there is a board there. The board is that whenever you are inside this box, you must be very, very happy. You must always have happy thoughts. You must remove every negative thought out of your head. You must only be having the positive thought. In this box, when you come inside this box, you will not have a negative thought, only a positive thought. We always find a reason to complain. We always find a reason to shout. We always find a reason to be rejected. We always find a reason to be neglected. We also find a reason to say, God, every time we complain. From the day we left Egypt, God gave us everything. We complain. We have bull, we have cow, we have everything, because the Torah said they left Egypt with all their properties. Still here we come and complain, God, we don't have meat. How come you don't have meat when you have cow you can kill? No, we don't have meat. Okay, God said, okay, is that your complaint? I'll give you meat. Okay, I'll give you meat. Oh, no, God, we don't have bread. Okay, we can complain. Okay, good. You don't have bread because they cannot plant. They are on the move. Okay, I'll give you bread. I'll give you manna. Oh, no, God, there is no water. Okay, whatever you want, I give it to you. Just stop complaining. That is who we are. We complain and never stop. It never ends. Okay, you know what, God? My husband, he doesn't listen. God, can you just talk to him to listen? Or you say, God, my wife, she's so stubborn. She doesn't listen. This woman, God, can you help me to talk to her to listen? Oh, no, God. These children you gave me. Why you give me this type of children? They never listen. Why can't you give me the one that listen? Oh, God Almighty, this boy, what am I going to do with this boy? Oh, God, this girl never listens. She always go outside. I tell her to stay inside. How many complain and complain? We will always find reason to complain. We will always find one thing, negative things to talk about. But in this box, you must always think about a happy thought, only positivity. Because God said, when on this your festival of Sukkot, when you are inside the sukkah, you must always be happy. It's a commandment. It is not just be happy. You have to be happy, which means that you have to change your thought. You have to change your understanding. All those negativities that you cling to, all those negativities that is easy to do what? To cling onto man. God is telling us on this festival, we have to throw them aside. We have to rearrange our mind. Everything in life is in your mind. God is giving us a simple message, and this message is very, very important. Some of us are stuck to the past. Oh, 10 years ago. Oh, last year. Oh, 5 years ago. Oh, my former husband. Oh, my ex-wife. Oh, this and that. We stick to the former life. When God is saying it's time to move forward, forget about the past, remove about them. But now it is time for you to think about positivity. Take away negativities. Remove those negative of the past. We don't need it. Now it's time for you to start thinking a positive things. To start thinking about the future, what is going to happen. Start to visualize a positive life. Start to visualize a positive future. It is written in the book, in the Messianic writing. Yeshua HaMashiach was saying, Book of Yohanan, chapter 1. Come in there. Chapter 1 from verse 10. Yohanan, Book of John, chapter 1 from verse 10. He was in the world, and the world existed by him, by his hand, and the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. But those who did receive him, he gave to them authority that they might be the sons of Elohim, those who have believed in his name. Verse 13. Those who neither by blood, nor by the will of the flesh, nor by the will of a man, rather were begotten by Elohim. I repeat again, 13. Those who neither by blood, nor by the will of the flesh, nor by the will of a man, rather were begotten by Elohim. He said, these are the people that he has given the authority to be called the sons of God, the sons of Elohim. These are men, these are women, these are people not born by the flesh, by the will of the flesh, by the will of a man. What does that mean? Yeshua HaMashiach is saying that those that are called the children of Elohim are not those people that come and stand up and say, you know what, I am the descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have the blood of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob flowing in my vein. I can do whatsoever I want. I don't care whatsoever it is outside there. But Yeshua HaMashiach said, those that are born by the Spirit, those are the ones called to be the sons of Elohim. Those that are not born by the will of the flesh, not those that depend upon the flesh, not those that talk about negativity all the days, all the time, all the rest of their life, but those that click onto positivity. And it is written that the Torah is what is life. To those that take hold of it. If you take hold of the Torah, then you have life. And life eternal. For Torah is our ticket to the world to come. So he's telling us here, Yeshua HaMashiach is saying, those that have the ticket to the world to come are those that are born by the Spirit of Elohim. Not by those people that come and say, you know, that I'm a Yehudim. I am a Jew, I can do whatever I want. I don't care what the Torah talks about. Those are the ones that are born by the flesh. Those are the ones born called Yaakov. But God is talking about Israel now. Israel, those that are born by the Spirit. Israel was born by the Spirit. Yaakov was born of the flesh. He's telling us now that we have to do what? Rearrange our mind, rearrange our soul, rearrange our understanding in what? In being happy. To always be happy. Always stay positive. But because when you stay positive, positivity will come unto you. We continue. This boy accepted the premise of the box, and at first begrudgingly, but later with greater ease, is able to generate happiness, producing thought as such as, sometimes my mother makes dinner alike, and other such affirming statements that put him in a state of mind that make him feel rich and full. After a while, he's complaining a lot less. Then he becomes anxious about going to summer camp because all his possessions need to fit neatly into a different bag, and he will have to leave the box at home. What will become of his state of happiness, since he has already in his mind adjusted to be happy in the box? Now he has to go to the summer school. Now he has to leave the box, the big happy box, at home, because the big giant happy box cannot fit inside his summer camp bag. What will become the state of his happiness? He then realized the great truth that the happiness is not in his box but in his head. The happiness that he generates, the happiness that he thinks is being generated through the box, actually is generated from his head. It's not, the happiness is not in the box. The happiness is in your mind. The happiness is in your brain. The happiness is in your soul. As you generate it, so shall it be. This important lesson is well learned. The children are fast asleep, but he, the rabbi, was more awake. The simple church story reminds me a little of a bad joke about a fellow who claimed his dog is so talented. He can do anything he is commanded to do. The challenge is taken up by a friend who threw a stick a distance and command the dog to fetch it. The dog looked up at him and began his diatribe. All day long, people tell me what to do. Roll over, jump, go through the fury hole. Good dog, bad dog, sit, here, eat this, don't eat that. I can't take it anymore. It's not fun being a dog. I hate it. I wish I were never born. The fellow interrupted the dog and tell him with a sense of outrage, all I asked you to do was to fetch. The dog answered back with surprise, oh, I thought you said fetch. Because we think that it is easy to be a dog. It is not easy to be a dog because the dog is sick in his eye. Why am I being commanded all day long? We always complain. We want to put ourselves in the position of the creator. And I'm sorry, we are not the creator. We are a created being. We are not the creator. When the owner of the dog is telling you, is telling the dog, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. The dog are always thinking, oh, you know what? I hate this. This is not for me. I'm not interested. I'm tired of this commandment all day long. Every time this, that, are you not tired? But there is a reason. When you train your dog well, it becomes a well-behaved dog. When you don't train your dog at all, it becomes a bad dog. It's a bad joke. But there is a sense in that joke. We human beings, we say, you know what, we are tired of this commandment. We are tired of this midvotes. We are tired of God telling us what to do. I know what to do. I can do whatever I want to do. But remember that we still have the animalistic part of human being. Man can become very wild if not controlled. Man can do very, very dangerous things if not taking the midvote and the commandment of God seriously. That is why God is telling us, this commandment is for you to be good, for you to do what is right and just, for the society to be at peace, for the society to be in line with what is good. Because if you every day will continue to do what is evil and bad, then there will be this chaos in the society. But when you follow the Torah, when you follow the ordinances and the midvote, then your society will be calm. It is for you. It is not for me. Because in my realm, there is no time. In my realm, everything is peaceful. But for you to have peace here on this planet, you have to follow these rules. Then everything will be will be at peace. They don't say, oh, I thought you said quesh. I want you to understand. A quesh is a Yiddish word, which means someone who complaining every time. Sukkot is referred to in a liturgy as the time of our happiness. How do we celebrate? We leave our lovely homes and sit exposed to the elements in little boxes. We are commanded by the Torah, and you shall rejoice with your holiday and only be happy. It is commanded. You shall rejoice in your holiday and only be happy. That is it. No negative thought, no evil thought, no bad thought. Remove all those things at this particular time for these 7 days. And if we can generate that in our mind, if we can align ourselves with that midvote to be happy, we will see that actually the happiness is not in the box. The happiness is not in the sukkah. The happiness is in our brain. The happiness is in our mind. We can be happy all year long if we want. We can be happy all the rest of our life. It's a kind of teaching that God Himself is teaching us. That you, that me, that we as a people can be happy. We don't have to be happy only on 7 days in a year, and that is it. And the rest of the year we are miserable. We can be happy all year long only if we click to the positivity. Maybe the story is not so simplistic, and the joke not so, as they say in Yiddish, far-fetched. It's very easy to be focused on what's missing in life, to give recognition or to give special recognition to the quarrel and heartless, to the unfinished business of history and history of business. Of course, it is very easy for us to focus our attention to what is missing in our life. It is very easy for us to focus our attention to, you know what, God, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this, I don't have that. Why can't you be focused on what you have? Say, God, I thank you for having this and this and that and that and this and that and that and that. Why do we as a human being has this tendency to say, okay, I want more of this, of this, of this, and if you don't have it, that is the end of the world. If you don't have it, you criticize everybody. If you don't have it, you become dejected in your soul. If you don't have it at the time that you want, you start crying. The world will end. But the Torah is saying, you have to focus your attention. We have to focus our attention to the positive, to the one that we have now, not for the one that we don't have. If we focus our attention to the one that we have now, then God will bless us for the one we don't have in the future. Because the Holy One, blessed be He, knows what we need right at the moment. Even more so these days, we need a way to regain a sense of optimism. How about 7 days in a happy box to see what's right in God's word? Hearing clearly the commandment as it is pronounced is a critical point. Nowhere does it say quench. Nowhere does it say quench. Nowhere in the Torah say complain. Nowhere in the Torah or nowhere in the commandment that said you have to continue to complain. No. Everything that is said is for you to be what? To be happy. Stop complaining. We all know how we can feel sometimes and how it creates a contagion of negativities. Therefore, we hang 2 signs in our sukkah. One upon entering, which read, you are entering a no quenching zone. The other posted prominently read, don't even think of quenching in the sukkah. We hang 2 signs in our sukkah which always said, when you are entering, stop complaining. When you are entering, forget about negativities. And the other, when you are inside, say, don't even think about complaining. The Vilna Gaon called this the hardest mitzvot in the Torah to fulfill. So don't expect it to happen with a simple story or a bad joke. By reciting an imperative verse or by hanging a humorous sign, but it sure is a good beginning. It is a very tough command. It is not easy for you to just, it's not a thing that I can just switch on or switch off. It's tough. But we are commanded at all days, at all times, at every minute of our life to be happy. Not just only on these 7 days of Sukkot or when you are inside the Sukkah. No. But you have, we have as a people, as a race, as a nation, as a synagogue to always be happy for the rest of our life. It is not easy. It is tough, but we have to learn how to generate positive thoughts. We have to learn how to generate happiness from our mind. The happiness that God is talking about is not in the box. The happiness is not in the sukkah. The happiness is in our mind. We can generate this thought every time, every moment, if we really want to do it. It is a commandment that we have to be happy at this moment. Shabbat Shalom.